Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, March 3rd. There's a lot going on in the news with the recent events, the conflict in the Middle East, and how is all of that playing into the markets? I'm going to do things a little bit differently tonight. I will reference a couple of news headlines to help you and I appreciate how the news headlines and what the media is telling everybody and how that plays into the psychology of trading. That's important because we need to be thinking like the sharks and the whales so that we don't get eaten by them. And in order to do that, we might have to combine two different data points. News plus data from a technical analysis standpoint, and that will result in a favorable position for us when we do our trades. So let's kick things off with triple Qs. I'm going to scroll down here to this section where it says news. And I just want to highlight the news from the day before. So on the 2nd, okay, here's one, US-Iran conflict. It already tells everybody that Wall Street is in defensive mode, okay? What does that push us to do? When they say Wall Street is in defensive mode, usually people are risk off. Here's another one from March 2nd. Former Treasury Secretary reportedly sees rate cuts job becoming complicated due to this war. So everything is, there's negative news, okay? And with that, look at price action today. It's to the downside. It influences, that's what I think, the behavior of the market. So let's take a look at the actual chart. As per usual, I've already annotated all of this for a while, and I've talked about all of these lowered momentum to the negative side. And you can see that price is moving sideways. I drew this flag pattern here, and in fact, it's just continuing. There's no change in my annotation. There will likely be a bounce off of this 200-day, and I think the next real area of support is down here on this trend line. If we look carefully down here in the RSI, you can see some building positive divergence. So I'm just going to draw it here so that we can see it clearly. Okay, so this bottom here, let me just circle it for us as we discuss it. This bottom, correction, let me back up. I want us to zoom in a little bit more. And in fact, I'm just going to remove these flag sticks just to have some clearer picture, okay? So I want us to look at this green low right here, and this one, and this one, three of them, okay? You can see that they are trending downward from a price standpoint. But over here in the RSI, it's very obvious. Let me clean this up here. You can see on the RSI, it is bullish divergent, okay? So there's some bullish momentum beginning to grow here. Now, I'm not going to put the whale signal here yet, similar to what I did with all the shark sell signals. And it's because it's only a little bit of green, okay, on the positive side. You might tell me, hey, John, let's be consistent. Okay, so I'll do it. I'll put one whale here, but I'm not convinced it's a big change in the momentum. Okay, it's not huge yet. It's not, to me, it's not a buy yet. It's just the first indication that there is some bullish momentum beginning to grow. And I'm just going to complete my annotation here. I drew a downward arrow, okay? And that's still the case. There's no change in my direction for the market here. Let's clean these things up a little bit. So I think there will be a bounce, probably off the 200-day, and it'll probably come up. And here, let me put some other lines here. I'm just going to freehand this, okay, real quick. Nothing super, I'm not making this like a super big deal at the moment. Okay, it's not a go buy in. Don't buy in now. I'm telling you, it's not time to buy in. So in general, the direction is to the downside, okay? I'll just kind of, I think it'll bounce off of there. All right, still to the downside, don't go long. That's triple Qs. Let's switch to the gold play. Look at today's price move. Almost a 9% to the downside, even after hours. So that's 9% in one day. What did the news say? So yesterday's news, look at yesterday's news right here. Gold ETFs shine as Middle East tensions stoke safe haven demand. What are they saying? They're saying, oh my gosh, the safe play is to put our money into gold ETFs. Okay, this is yesterday. So what does that do? That creates a liquidity event for the sharks to sell. Let me show you what happened. So I've been talking about it. I said, hey, don't be fooled. All my arrows are to the downside, okay? And you can see for months there's been building bearishness, okay? I've been annotating it. In fact, what has happened down here, I called it. If you listen to my video from last week, I said likely gold would do a double top. And in fact, it did. So here's one top, here's another top, okay? There's the bearishness right there. You can see it. There it is. And where did price go today? Price came right down, hit the trend line support. You can see it. I mean, this analysis is there for a purpose. And it bounced off of it with some decent volume, 66 million, okay? So look at this down here, 66 million here. That's a decent sell. I'm going to make a line like this to kind of mark that zone. And then I also want to highlight that this trend line here will continue to hold because it's been holding, okay? It'll hold for a little bit. There may be a gap fill up here. It's possible they'll do that just to get everybody excited. But the main point I wanted to highlight is the news from yesterday promoted the gold ETFs. Said, hey, time to jump in because it's a safe haven play because of all this Middle East tension. And what that does is it brings volume. It brings you and I and other, correction, not you and I. I've been telling us not to go long on gold. But it pulls in everybody else, all of your friends who follow the news. They watch the news, they listen to it, they have it on their feeds, right? They have it on their Apple Watches. They're seeing, hey, time to buy a gold ETF, time to buy gold. What that does is it brings buyers in so that the sharks can get rid of their trade at the point of 66 million. Whereas, look at all these green candles down here. They're about 31, 26, 18 million, right? Boom, one day they're out. So the sharks made some big bucks. Anyway, still further low prices for GDX, okay? Don't go long GDX. All right. Let's switch to Bitcoin. Let's look at the Bitcoin news. Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin news. Let's go back a day. Wow. So Bitcoin, you can see there's a lot of Bitcoin news, right? A lot of Bitcoin news. I'll just pick one. Iran crypto outflows. Outflows is a negative word. Jump post airstrikes in recurring crisis patterns. So that means due to these airstrikes, the crypto outflows, people are selling crypto. Bitcoin could fall if Middle East conflict escalates. What is the headline trying to get behavior out of the market. They're trying to get people to relinquish Bitcoin. What's another one? Biggest hyperliquid whales back Bitcoin rally with. All right, so they're trying to get people. In one case, they're trying to get people to dump. Okay, Bitcoin could fall. It's a fear mongering. Whereas this one, crypto funds record 1 billion weekly inflows. Okay, so let's take a look. Sometimes it's not consistent, the news. But what I do see, and you can see my annotations here, I still mark it out. 58K was where I was thinking. Okay, now is where price will likely continue to go down to. You can see here that despite all that news, there isn't a lot of volume compared to these 2 days. Okay, this is the main selling day, right? 78,000 shares. And then consumers bought it back up, or medium-sized fish bought it back up, 67 million shares, 1,000 shares. But there's no bullish divergence. Okay, this is a low. This is a higher low. Okay, so it's going up. And momentum is doing the same. There's no divergence. There's no indication that there's a change in direction. So for me, still further low prices for Bitcoin. Okay. Let's look at Microsoft. You can see Microsoft's pattern here for the past year. The news from yesterday and today, let's see, yesterday, they're talking about a rally. March 2nd, it was, hey, U.S. equities primed for a rally, a return. Let's see. Escalating tensions turn spotlight on big tech AI investments in Middle East. Usually when they talk about a spotlight and AI, it's a positive thing. They're wanting you to buy in. Microsoft retail investors shrug off fears. What are they saying? They're saying, you know what? It's time to buy back in. So let's look at what happened today. Okay, so you can see today was a green day, 1.35% up, but it's up into where? It's up into resistance. So I did put this whale here from last week, informing everybody, yep, I do see bullishness. Okay, there is bullish momentum change, but it's right into resistance. It's not a momentum change free and clear from resistance. So I'm still aiming for further low prices for Microsoft in the near term. Okay, there's all this divergence up here, the double top as well, the flag here, it's flagging. I think this is yet another flag. It'll flag up a little bit into this resistance, maybe up above it a little bit, and then resume downward. Okay. So further low prices for Microsoft. Don't get excited to buy yet. It's not a lot of momentum change. Let's go over to the defense stock called Northrop Grumman. What was their news? So yesterday, let's look at March 2nd. Why Northrop stock is trading up? Okay, it's positive news. They're trying to, stoke more positivity. Hey, U.S. defense stocks surge pre-market. So pre-market yesterday, positive talk there. Defense stocks jump, okay, after Iran strikes. So, right, things are escalating. So it should be positive for defense stocks. But what's happening? You can see, let's zoom out. Everything has to be zoomed out. All right. This is a legit trend line right here, okay? You can see all of this divergence. I put all these sharks here to get people to be aware that they're going to sell. And in fact, the move yesterday where price jumped, let's see here, jumped 6%, okay? Jumped 6% is divergent. It's on the bearish side. There's no change in the direction of the momentum. It is still to the downside while price is going up. So for you and I, this is not the moment to go long. If you're already in it, great, take your profits. I keep telling people, take your profit, because this is not the time to go long. It's still further low prices, okay? I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. It'll probably do something like this. So it has this, like, it'll go like this, right? It'll go something like that, all right? So don't jump in now. This is not the time. Let's switch to the financial play. American Express. I mean, look at this. American Express, I drew this. It's doing what I'm saying, okay? There's no momentum change either, except a tiny bit. It just poked its head up today. So let's annotate it. So from here to here, there is a little bit of bullishness. Okay. Now, this bullishness doesn't mean it's time to jump in. I think it's, momentum is changing. Overall, it's still to the downside. Okay. So let's just keep drawing my arrows here. I think it'll bounce a little bit, and then it'll still come down. Okay. It's a wave pattern. That's all it does. Okay. Don't get sucked in. Let's go over to Bank of America, also a financial play. Let's just look at some of the headlines. March 2nd, this was yesterday. Bank brokerage stocks recover lost ground after last week's sell-off. Okay, this was the headline to get you to buy in. Okay, so you would have expected financials to move a little bit, and they did. Bank of America moved up, 0.3. American Express, which I just talked about not even a third of a percent. And then today, Bank of America announces redemption of 2.8 billion fixed floating rate senior notes, whatever. They're just going to get some money back. So these are positive headlines to get you to buy back in so that they can release their shares. So Bank of America, check it out. I mean, I drew this. I'm all back. Okay, it's doing what I said. No change. The question is there a momentum change? There is a little bit. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, I can see it. Just a little bit. Not enough to get overly excited about, okay? In fact, not even enough for me to put a whale. There's no whale here. But I'll annotate it just to be consistent so everybody can see what I'm saying, okay? All right, so it's there. You can see it. Overall, the direction is down. Now, the question is this going to be support right here at 47? I think it will be. You can see this touch here, all of this here, okay? So I think price will come down, and this may be a zone of support. Let's make that green. So there may be a zone of support, and if the momentum down here, the bullish momentum continues to be exhibited, then it may be, I don't know, a small long entry. Okay, so I'm going to pay attention to that myself. Let's go over to Proctor Gamble. This was one of the long plays, which I've been talking about for a while, right? I've been telling you that this is a good long play, and that over the past week, I want it to fail because the momentum shows it. There's some increased bearishness here. And I said, you know what? I want it to come back down to this 200-day so that we can all add to our position or take a position long, because this is a good play. All right, so look, it's coming down based on all this momentum information. Okay, actually, let's take a moment, look at the news. Procter & Gamble is a medical, drugs, right? Drug company. They do drugs and everything. So let's see, yesterday, all right, they were trying to panic people a little bit with the executives selling their shares. And let's see, oh, okay, they had earnings. Let's take a look at what their earnings was yesterday. Go back here. Okay, so no earnings. I misread that. What is this news here? Sell shares, earning highlights. It's fine. So no significant news, but I think it will come down here. Right? They'll want to sell it down, and we'll want to take a long down here. Okay. Palantir, defense stock. Look at this. There's a little bit of momentum here, positive momentum, to go along with, right? All the sell signals here, all the divergence down here. You can see it. Just watch my videos from many weeks, many months. And I told you that the selling is coming. So it's coming. And in fact, I drew this trend line here with all these touch points. And I talked about how this is going to be resistance. So price did in fact come back into resistance. Okay. And this is only a little bit of momentum. The rest of it, let's see, is it lower? I'm looking at this red one here. Okay, it is lower than this one. So in fact, it goes like this. All right. So and this red one here is what day? This is, oh, it's Tuesday. So this was last week. So there is bullish momentum here. All right, so hence price spiked back up. All right, that's fine. Fine. It may have enough momentum to get to the 200-day, okay, or to this price point of 156. Let's get rid of this line real quick and redraw. So there may be resistance here at 156. Yep. Yeah, but it's really not a long play. I'm not convinced it's a good long. Not for the long term. It's not a many months type of play. So I'll put the whale here to be consistent, right? Versus all of these sharks on the sell side. It's just I think it's just a flag. To me, it's a flag pattern. Let's go to the weekly real quick. I'm curious. Yeah, so check this out. It's a little cleaner. I'm going to draw this line here. From here down here. I'm going to make it thicker just so that we can all read it more clearly. So like that, let's make it black, and let's make it thick. Yeah, can you see that? So there you go. And then the flag continues up. This is the weekly, remember. So let's say the flag goes like this. Okay. And then if we were to add this one back, you've seen me do this before. I'm going to clone it. I'm going to bring it over to where it may break. Let's say it breaks. Oh, look at that. Right to the tip of this arrow here. So really, further low prices for Palantir and defense stocks in general. Don't get sucked in. I'm just going to delete these lines as just true. But that was the flag pattern that I see coming on the weekly. Okay. Let's go back to the daily. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but it will flag out. Yeah, it'll flag out. Come back down here. Don't go long yet. I mean, if you were to go long, this would have been a good long entry over here. Okay. As soon as it got above 130, maybe take a long there. But, I did my video, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday last week. And I didn't see the bullishness, so I couldn't make the call. Let's go to Raytheon, another defensive stock. I drew this right here last week, the zone of resistance, and sure enough, prices bounced up into it. But I'm going to clean up my line real quick. Move this out of the way. Just for a second, move it out of the way. The line I want to clean up is this one. So I'm going to drag it out a little bit, like that. All right. So you can see that price got pushed right up into resistance, and it failed. So yesterday hit resistance. Today was the beginning of selling, not more selling than yesterday. So I think it'll continue to go up. I'm going to slide this over, but it's going to be resistance, resistance, resistance up here, and then it will fail. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap here. I'll just annotate it like that. All right, so for the low prices, still, all right. In general, not the time to go long. Okay, I'll just annotate this over like that. There you go. Okay. Let's go to the other defense stock, Lockheed. Lockheed's bouncing around this resistance zone. See how I drew this? It's bouncing around here. All the indications are to the downside. All the defense stocks are going to do the same thing. Once they start selling, it'll be something like, expect some sort of news, like a temporary ceasefire, right? Something positive like that. They'll have to come up with something very positive to help bring people, help create the liquidity event. So they'll say, hey, temporary ceasefire, peace agreement, temporary peace agreement, or diplomacy, or for example, they'll say something like the oil that is no longer available because of the oil tankers at risk of being blown up, right? That news recently that spiked gas prices. Well, they'll do something like, oh, they opened up the channel, it's safe now, the carriers and battleships are there to protect the tankers, or something will come up that will make everybody super happy to go long defense stocks. And that's when the buyers will come in and the sharks will dump, and you'll see price drop precipitously. Okay, so I already told you it's coming. Let's look at LGEN. All right, so LGEN, yep, behaving as I expected. I talked about all this resistance up here, and you can see my annotation is that likely it'll hit resistance. It bounced around resistance, sold down today, boom. So all the way down to a line that I already drew, this support line down here. Okay, it's a channel. You can kind of see the channel. I mean, price behaves, the charts tell us, okay? Now, this line here is a thicker one because it's a longer term line. So it wins versus a smaller term line. So as price came up to this zone, it's a lot of resistance, hence all this red that I drew here. And then it sold down, boom. I mean, all this divergence, I put the shark. Okay, so the question is, will it bounce here? Will it come back up? I think what they'll do is they'll bounce it around as I drew it here. They'll bounce it around, and then they'll continue the selling. Okay. So no change in this financial stock that is on the London Stock Exchange. Then let's switch over to Target. This is a consumer stock. Let's look at the news real quick for Target. This is I think they call it consumer defensive. Okay. All right. So I'm just scanning for March 2nd. Wow, there's a lot of March 3rds here. You can see it here. So Target beats earnings estimates. Okay. They talk about greater sales growth. Target's sales drop. Let's see, Target's 2025 sales drop, earnings per share. Okay, I don't know. Target stock jumps, strong 2026 outlook. The CEO has a plan. Oh my gosh, things are looking great. So look, it jumped more than 6% today. So now it's all positive. It jumped 6%, even though I've been saying the momentum is to the downside here. See how I drew it? I want price to come down so I can take a long, or I can add to my position. You and I can take a long or add to our positions down here at the purple. Okay. Now, they quickly filled the gap. You can see how they filled the gap and then they sold it back down. Okay, so during the day, it went up, came back down, and it closed at the top of the gap. They filled the gap. The overall direction is to the downside for the time being. Yeah, for the time being, it's to the downside. I want to break this support so it can come down here for a better long. Okay. Overall, it is a long play though, and I've been talking about it. I put this here. You guys have heard me. On November 11th last year, I said, hey, it is a long. This is the time to go long. Okay. That was the last video. I talked about the longs all across here, but this is the last video I made until recently. Just say, hey, time to go long. Sure enough, if you were in it, great. Overall, the target is up here to this 155 zone. So I just want a slightly better entry to add to my position down here, come back down, add to the position. Okay, so I hope you're in the play. Right now, I wouldn't take the long here because you're kind of in between zones, in between support down here and the purple trend line and up here. Okay, and you might say, well, you know, the gap, the risk reward is, let's see, from here down to here, that's 13.5%. And from where we are here, 13.5 to here, 29%. So, you know, the risk reward is 1 to 2, but I don't like that type of risk reward. Let's make it much more favorable. Let price come to you. Don't chase price. All right, so that's it for tonight's video. It was a little bit different because I added some of the news review. I hope that you found that addition valuable to help you understand how sharks and whales find liquidity, how they help improve their position either to go long or to sell, and how that influences your behavior. And with that, I hope that you can give me a thumbs up, share my video with your friends and family, and let me know in the comments what you want me to continue to review. If you like the idea of adding this news bit into the video, I can continue to do that. Or if there's another ticker that you'd like for me to analyze for you. Okay, so good luck with your trades, and I will see you next time.